Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 140.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, three goths who spend most of their time up in the trees, Johnny, Sean, and Dave.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that follows three full-time authors as we attempt to change the face of indie publishing. Join us and our trailblazing guests as we shove aside boundaries, freely experiment, and occasionally screw up. I'm Johnny B. Truant, and my co-hosts are Sean Platt and David Wright. And our guest today, in about half hour or so, is going to be Steve Scott, who we all liked separately. Like, we were like, hey, you know who's cool? Steve Scott. And, oh, yeah, I'd like him too.
Yeah, Steve Scott is great. Yeah, and what's awesome is that he sells nonfiction information books, and Dave likes him. So that's just awesome.
Right, it's always a little dangerous when you say to somebody who's selling to do things to Dave, but this time Dave came to us. You know who's doing some cool stuff? Steve Scott. So
yeah, I
and
think
he
we
did the same with a guest
like
we're having later.
Ago.
Nick Stevenson. Dave also found Nick, so there you go.
Maybe it's not that Steve Scott's a good guy. Maybe Dave is getting evil. Could that be? Could that be possible here? I think so. I think Dave's just evil.
So it's been a very interesting week. I finished Robot Proletariat this morning, which is one of those projects over the holidays. You never know whether you're going to have holiday hangover. So starting the year off right. Dave, how is your year going? All your resolutions still intact?
What? Yeah, every one of them that I've not made. I figured if I wait to do my resolutions, then I can't break them early, so I'll just delay it.
That's very good.
I figure, I don't know, maybe sometime around October 11th or 15th or something, I might be, ready to make a year, something for the whole year at that point.
You should make your resolutions for 2015 on December 31st, 2015. And then just say, okay, this was my resolution. And if you that lets you, because then you win. Then you'd be like, I want to resolve to wake up every day. Although that one's a little dicey for you sometimes too.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I started up a new. Have you ever heard of Bullet Journal?
No, but I always love getting breaking news because you never know where it's going to go with Dave.
Oh, Bullet Journal is a...
Is it to espouse your love of your NutriBullet?
Yes. Still in a box from last week, by the way. I put it right back in the box.
You put it back in the box. My family was wondering about that. They were like, well, he wouldn't put it back in the box, right? So it's out now, right?
Yeah. So, no, NutriBullet is like a journaling planning sort of thing. There's a website. It's very simplified, and it's cool. So you kind of like plan out, your day, your week, your month, and all that good stuff, and you do little check boxes to everything that you've accomplished. So awesome. I said, okay, this week I'm gonna plan out my week, and I had like all this stuff that I had put in there, and the first 2 days of it, I did not check but one box each. So.
Fantastic. You're an inspiration.
One of them was a writing box, so that's good.
You know what you should do? You really should write an anti-self-help book.
Well, that's why I read Steve Scott, because or S.J. Scott, as he's known, because I'm
known by several things.
I'm just going to write like a parody of him. That's probably what I'm going to do. So it's just feeding my, satirical nature.
But to be clear, you're not parodying him. You're parodying yourself.
Oh yeah. No, I'm weird. I'm his ideal customer actually, in that I read all these things about how to change yourself, and then don't do any of it, and then just buy like the next book. So he probably loves people like me. I'm like
Dude, you're butter on
the
his
diet clinic. Yeah.
We have an
number one
exciting
fan.
number one fan. We have an exciting announcement to make. This is kind of cool. People have asked about this. We did the World Builder Summit that we've talked about back in when was that? September of last year. And
it was September 11th. Remember, you had to fly on 9/11?
I had to fly on 9/11. That's right. That was fun, realizing that after the fact. Yeah, so, and of course, Amy and Monica from that summit now work with us, and Garrett already did. So it's a little incestuous. Apparently, we just hire people that come, but not really.
You know what? No, what it is that we hire people that we like, and when we get around people and they laugh at our jokes and shit, we like them. I think that's what it is.
Not me. I hate everyone.
He does. He actually maintained his hatred the whole time.
And Calvin's coming back too. He was at the last one, but he's coming again. So that's good. That's a vote of confidence that everybody's coming back. One can't come because he's got some personal stuff, but he wants to. So that said, we're opening early bird registration for that. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, Sean?
Yeah, sure.
The early bird link, sorry, I just wanted to give the link real quick. I should have done that. It's sterlingandstone.net/colonist.
Yeah, first of all, big shout out to both Amy and Monica who kind of made this happen, because we've been, going to get our shit together for the colonist session for a long time. And Amy's like, no, let's get a hotel. Let's do this. And Monica wrote the sales page that's up right now. Which I actually love, because I don't want to write a sales page, and I know Johnny doesn't want to write a sales page.
I ran screaming from that. I said, "Can Monica write the sales page?" But I also like it from her point of view as an
right.
attendee.
But that's actually my favorite thing. That it's a sales page written by somebody who was at the World Builder Summit. I just think that's the best perspective it could possibly come from. And I love that. And So anyway, thanks to Monica for getting the page written, and thanks to Amy for making sure she sourced the hotel. And it was cool. We looked at a bunch of hotels downtown, and then we ended up thinking, you know what, the Renaissance was really rad, which is the place we had it in September, and so we're just doing it there. But you can see that link on the page. It's going to be April 18th and 19th. And there is early bird pricing right now, and that's 25% off what it will be. And as we get going the next couple of weeks, we'll flesh it out. We'll know in more detail what we're doing and the whens and the whys. But right now, it's basically there, a lot cheaper for people who know they want to go now.
Right. I mean, you don't have to do it right now, but if you know you want to go, might as well get the discount. That's until January 28th. Is when that early bird will end, and then we'll start filling any remaining spots. I'm just trying to. I know I screwed this up yesterday. Total seats is 24, and I think 6 are taken. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so there's 18 seats available. Although for some reason I have 16 in my head. Could there be another 2 that we're not thinking of?
I'm waiting for another YouTube comment from Amy saying you guys are the worst, as she did yesterday.
Well, to be fair to Amy, she's totally right. We are the worst.
Yes. We continue on in spite of ourselves. So there you go. I'm really looking forward to that.
I will say one cool thing about the last thing we did in September. It was, for me, when I worked at the newspaper, one of the most enjoyable things was our weekly meetings, where we would get together and pitch ideas and talk about different stories that we wanted to do. And the reason I like that so much is because you're with other creative people and you're bouncing all these ideas around. And it's the closest I had to collaboration until I met Sean. And now even, Sean and I, when we collaborate, the brainstorming sessions are always my favorite part of the week. Way better than the fucking writing. Because that's work, but the brainstorming...
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Brainstorming is way better than writing.
You guys are crazy. I love writing.
It's such a high, and it's so awesome to get together with other people and just come up with something, help each other create something. It's just there's nothing quite like it, and doing it in person is even awesome. That is one of the things, Sean's been bugging me and Johnny both. Well, not Johnny. He doesn't need to bug Johnny about moving to Austin. And that is something I would enjoy very much, going to Austin. Getting together for the weekly story meetings. Of course, I feel if I was in Austin and actually getting together for meetings, there would be like 7 meetings a week and absolutely no writing being done. But
yeah, but you'd probably get me to play Skyrim and shit. You know what I loved about it is that there's no resistance, there's no friction between, if somebody has a question. Let's say now, the way the podcast runs, if somebody has a question on, YouTube, they leave a comment on YouTube with a question, and we do our best to answer it. And there's just this big delay, But being in a room where you can actually trade ideas and feed off of the energy, Dave's right. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that at all. And it was exciting for us just because even though we have our story meetings individually and together, every week, pretty much without fail, it's still different in person. Like in person's magical,
I was actually happy for 2 whole days.
It was amazing. He was happy. I'm actually, the energy is so different that I'm going to be going down for South by Southwest again because Sean lives down there in March, and then in April is the Colonist session. And then in May, Sean and we should keep trying to get Dave to do these things, but I think it's a lost cause.
He'll never do it.
He'll never go. In May, we're going to the Authority conference in Denver.
Respect my authority.
And so, that's 3 months in a row, and I don't normally like to travel, but it's magnified in a way. It's like you just. The vibe of talking to somebody over a meal, and Sean put it in terms of no friction, but if you're talking to somebody over a meal, it's a different energy. You get a different quality of discussion than just because it's casual or you're hanging out or you're around a table with just a handful of people. It's just really. And it tells you that you're taking it seriously. Like every time I go to one of these, I get better, even if I don't think I specifically learned anything. It's just like I'm in a room with creatives. That's, I think, what Dave was talking about too. It's just like there's an energy, and I don't know. It was really, really fantastic. But what I thought was really amazing, specifically about the last thing that we did, was that things that came from everybody at that table are in our next two the Dream Engine sequels. The Nightmare Factory is number 2, the Ruby Room is number 3, and that was a world that was sort of crowd-sourced, kind of crowd-brainstormed at that session. Totally shaped the way the world is going to work, and they're all writing books which will be available in a bundle before that session occurs, which is great. And we're going to throw the Dream Engine in and mass marketing. There you go. Okay, so I'll just read the link again. It's sterlingandstone.net/colonist if you want to check that out. And the early bird pricing is until the 20. I closed the page. 28th.
It's the 28th.
Okay,
say the 28th,
great.
or Amy's going to tell you you're the worst.
You guys are the worst.
Got a comment.
Go ahead with the comments.
Josh Hilden says, when I worked in the RPG role-playing game industry, we used to have yearly collaboration meetings. They were a hoot, and we came up with some great ideas. So definitely.
Yeah, it's fast. I liked how fast it was. It's not trading emails. It's conversation at its best.
Amy said, bullet journaling seems awesome. I support Dave trying it. Why do I feel like she wrote that almost sarcastically?
No, I support Dave trying everything. I'm waiting for something to work. Dave, when you move to Austin eventually, I'm not even kidding about this, the sheer being there will influence everything you do. Like, you will automatically get healthier just by being there. And
yeah,
happier.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
And the fact that food is, like, a little healthier than... Yeah, I'll go off on food on our next show. I got a whole rant.
No, something new on Better Off Undead. Dave talking about food.
In case anybody is wondering, this is a Platinum Reader exclusive this month. It's going to be the very first episode of Redacted. which is now finished. It's done. I sent it to the editor.
I would say that I can't wait for Dave to read it, but he never will.
Wait, do I get approval? Do I get approval on this?
No, not until
you have to read it. To get approval.
You can't write stuff about me.
It's not about you. It's about Daniel Sturgis.
Yeah, Daniel's Daniel. We don't know if he works for the NSA or McDonald's. Either is possible, but he has all these crazy crackpot theories.
I am not a conspiracy theorist. All right.
He exaggerated everybody's personalities. There's a bunch of stuff in there that isn't true. I exaggerated mine. I'm a dipshit. Sean is over the top crazy.
But you are a dipshit. Your IQ is less than ours.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not you, Daniel. Daniel is telling us all about these crazy things that he suspects over Alfredo sauce that is actually marinara that's not getting put on the table fast enough. It's pretty spectacular. So fans of BOU, we have a special present for you, and Platinum readers, we have a special present for you coming later this month.
I feel like we've been doing a lot of sort of stuff that the audience would be interested in terms of moving self-publishing our own stuff forward, but I don't know how much of it, if any, is ready to be talked about, or if it's just what is there? Help me out here.
Well, I think a lot of it is incubating is the problem. I think that we want to show some really cool, tangible results before we start talking about stuff. So. Right. And I think that all the stuff that we're doing is basically what we have right now is really exciting because our word for the year was optimize, right? And as of right now, it's January 9th, and we've picked a lot of little things to optimize, and they're kind of kicking ass, but it's mostly where we can see, the beak pecking at the shell and the bird's about to come out. Like we've got a nest full of eggs. And it's really, really exciting, but I still think it's a little premature. But definitely pay attention in the next few weeks because there's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that we're working on that is really exciting. And there's a lot of stuff that, we've kind of kept under wraps a little bit just because we want to produce first. But that's all very, very exciting.
And the well, I mean, like Sean said, the word for the year, we talked about this on the last show, is optimize, and that does help me frame it, because everything I'm doing, I'm reminding myself, okay, well, this is optimizing. This is about we are producing. Like I said, I just wrapped Robot Proletariat. We're beginning a new project tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday, and Sean already gave me beats. So we are kind of producing at a pretty good clip, honestly. But that said, it isn't about production. Like the stuff that we're optimizing today, a lot of it was produced in like 2013, which was our manic production year. So 2013 was produce, 2014 was iterate, just slowly improve across all of our systems, and then 2015 is let's take what we already have and make it do more for us, make it better.
Yeah.
And that's really, really satisfying in these initial stages, just because it's like it's the work, hopefully reward. We've delayed gratification on a lot of stuff because we want to have our long-term strategies in place, and now is the point where I think we are starting to see actual results, and it's just very, very satisfying. But for anybody, I think you can follow these same, even if you just have one book, it's just a different time frame.
Well, I think a lot of the people who have looked at some of the things that we're done, that we've been doing over the last couple of years and thought, man, those guys are crazy, right? I think this is the year where hopefully by the end of the year, if not sooner, we'll start to see a lot of that insanity kind of, click into place and make sense. And we talk about iteration a lot, and this is kind of a very good example of it living out loud. Like you're seeing it. We make mistakes and we fumble and we recalibrate and we recover and we optimize and whatever. But you're seeing it very much in real time, and so that's really exciting. And a lot of the stuff that we're just not quite talking about yet, it's mostly because we don't want to be confusing. We know in the past that we've thrown too much out there and it's too confusing. It's a barrage of information. It's a fire hose all at once. It confuses Dave, right? Dave gets glaze eyes at for 90% of our meetings. He's just looking at his watch every 5 minutes, and so
drawing pictures. Of your mom.
Yeah, drawing pictures of my mom. True story. And so it's just a really good idea to have more tangible things to talk about in more munchable chunks. But needless to say, the year is starting off very strongly, and we're really excited, both on a production level, but mostly for me, I feel really happy about the optimization that we're doing.
So there you go. This actually
wait.
reminds me of my spontaneous read from last week.
Johnny's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, Johnny's breaking up, but I can cut in here and say that.
Oh, yay, good. What a great time for that to happen too.
Yeah.
One of the things that we are trying to optimize, and Johnny and I had a long discussion about this on Tuesday, is our covers. We definitely need to optimize our covers. Johnny,
covers?
Dave.
Oh, our covers. Oh, that reminds me of the spontaneous thing that I was mentioning beforehand. If you wanted to optimize your covers, if you said, okay, well, there's I'm delaying because my internet seems to be crapping out a little. But if you wanted to optimize your covers, you needed a new cover. This is great. Trust me, it's good on the audio feed. Where would you go with that, Dave?
Well, back in the dark ages, not too long ago, if you wanted a cover and you didn't know a designer, you were just shit out of luck. I mean, you could just look at some of the covers on Amazon and see these things done in MS Paint with Comic Sans font that would show you that how awful it used to be until a bright beacon on the horizon appeared. 99 Designs. It was like the hand of God coming down and offering covers to regular people like us, professional quality covers to regular people like us.
I actually have a complaint, Dave. When you mentioned 99 Designs last week, and I went and I tried to hire an assassin on your recommendation, and it didn't work out well at all. I mean, I don't want to go into it, but it's just I'm not allowed to go into it. Yeah.
Well, okay. I may have been fibbing a little bit, exaggerating a bit that you can find assassins on 99 Designs. But you can.
That's disappointing.
You can find book covers, and
to be fair, you can probably find book covers who are also assassins. Might be on there, but it's like a sideline thing.
Yeah, and you probably shouldn't bring that up in the conversations with your designer. Are you also an assassin? Let me know. Maybe hide a little bit of code in the file that you send me. You should probably avoid that. But if you want a great book cover, 99designs.com/SPP. That is the place to go, because you will go there and you will tell them your idea. Say, I have this great book that I've been wanting to write, but I need a professional cover. Can anybody help me? And you'll have designers competing to help you. They will have great designs and more designs than you could possibly even.
Are they willing to go in a cage match?
They'll be competing so fiercely you may need to hire an assassin from a different site to pick some of them off.
No, they keep resisting my suggestions for cage matches. I don't know why, but
right.
I guess
bullshit.
But yeah, we've used 99 Designs for a lot of our covers, especially the covers that I just cannot fucking do, and they've done just a remarkable, great job each and every time.
We're trying to decide what we're going to send to 99 Designs next. We have a few options on the table. We talked about doing adult video. We ended up not doing that. Donovan did that for us, and it's fantastic. We can talk about that more later, but we have a few options of what we're going to take to 99 Designs next, so we love them.
Yeah, I've got a few covers I want to do with him.
So start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP, and if you use that link, that gets you the free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99, and that will make your contest stand out. You'll generally get better results. They'll highlight it and all that stuff. And if you don't use it, then they may hire an assassin to come and get you. So 99designs.com/SPP if you want to live.
And if you don't like your design, you have nothing to lose.
Oh, okay. Oh.
If you don't like the design, you don't have to pay. So there you go. That's in the first round, though. That's not like, you can't,
You can't get it, use it on your cover, and then say, I don't like this design, I'm not paying for it.
Because then they will send the assassins.
Right, exactly. And we know that they have those connections.
Do assassins only come with power pack upgrades?
I wonder if we're the only advertiser for 99 Designs, the only people who actually have interjected assassins into it.
We're the only ones brave enough to speak the truth. That's what it is.
I invited Steve just now, and that we have this awkward period where we're waiting for him to show up because he sent a lengthy email. Okay, let's go ahead with the comments.
Oh, wow, he was prompt.
Look at that. He was waiting.
Joe Barlow says Dave would make a fantastic self-hurt author.
Awesome. That's a new genre he invented. That's
so
fantastic.
Steve is here. Steve, I just got to say, I've been reading all your books, and I am your ideal reader in that I want to change, but I am too damned lazy to change, so I buy all of your books, read them, and do absolutely nothing, and then buy the next one, so you must love people like me.
You're my target demographic. Perfect. I thought you would hate me because I'm a former internet marketer type of person who has that background, so I thought you'd be pissing and moaning the entire time leading up to this episode.
Well, okay, I gotta look a little more into you, so hold on. Maybe by the end of the show, my opinion will change.
Oh, no worries.
Have you worked with Frank Kern?
Oh, yeah, no, I was part of this match. No, I'm kidding. No, not at all.
Bye!
Hang up.
No, I gotta say, I love what Steve does. Steve totally has the write, publish, repeat model, and he does it for nonfiction, and he does it very, very well. He understands that people want bite-sized information.
Yeah.
They want stuff that his stuff is very consumable. He understands that readers don't want to be. It's the opposite of write, publish, repeat. Which is a big story, and in fact,
which is why I've read his stuff and not you and Joe.
Right.
You wouldn't read our stuff if it was a 7,500 word episode of a redacted.
You show me you can write something short, and I might read it.
He'd read it if it came with cookies. That's it. So Steve, right now I'm reading Level Up Your Life. I just downloaded that yesterday, and I'm reading that, and it's just so like. To the point. And I was thinking, okay, this is very it's bullet point writing in a lot of it, and Fiction Unboxed and Write, Publish, Repeat are both stories, right? There's a lot of story in there, but some people don't want that like at all, and our worst reviews reflect that. Some people just want information, and your books are so excellent at doing that. They give you a keyword-rich title that's a promise, and then the book fulfills that promise, and it's a great model.
Oh, thank you. No, honestly, I've actually been critiqued, and actually some people have told me I should put more stories into my books, and that's actually something that I find it's a personal challenge. I'm naturally a shy person, so I don't really like talking to myself. I'm like spending so much time in the stories, and actually, Sean, that the first time I ever heard of you was at that one aforementioned conference. We're not going to say his name. But I liked what I like what I'm gonna destroy his name. Ramal. Oh shit. The
Kamal.
Thank you, Kamal Revakamp. But he was really emphasis on keep your ego small and just really focus on what people want and just get to the point and try helping them and try not to bring yourself too much into the narrative. But I actually did love Write, Publish, Repeat. So I do think I absolutely love the idea of kind of getting to know the authors as a person. So I think there is some sort of merging ground there between telling your story while also
it's just a totally different style, Yeah. But I think that what's different is people are buying Write, Publish, Repeat. A lot of people who bought Write, Publish, Repeat, they had some relationship with us, even if it's just listening to the podcast, they've heard us, and then they went and bought the book.
Or sexual.
But your way is really intelligent in the fact that it's based on discovery. People are looking for an answer to this question. I'm going to answer that question ahead of time, and I'm going to find out what people are asking ahead of time, then answer that question. And it's a smart way of writing. It's a smart way of doing business, and I'm sure much easier to do that with. This is much more relevant to nonfiction authors than fiction authors. Like, let's get that out of the way. This isn't something that fiction authors can easily duplicate, but for nonfiction authors, it's smart. You're looking for questions that people are answering, and then you're intelligently answering those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, what I'm just starting to do now that I have kind of an established email list, is I'm asking them point blank, hey, I'm going to write a book about this subject. Tell me your biggest challenge. And that's like the old internet marketing adage, but really it's just what challenges are you going through on a daily basis? And I'm writing a book about exercising every day, and I made a mistake of saying, hey, I'm going to give it for free to everyone that replies back. So I got 500 emails. I'm like, oh my God, I can't answer all these people. But so I'm probably just going to give away to all of them. But it was so eye-opening just listening to all the stuff that people go on a daily basis.
I bet your outsourcing book helped to deal with that deluge.
No, it's even worse now. I'm just buried on probably like what I think you guys talked in the recent episode. I'm just buried under emails, and it's actually one of the reasons I started the podcast, so I can kind of systematically go through its emails and actually have a second use of them instead of actually just trying to email a person one time and then that piece of good content is just lost out into the netherworld.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Steve,
I do want to
go ahead, Dave.
I just want to point out for our audio listeners that in Steve's office behind him, he has marathon medals hanging up behind him. It's like looking at the opposite of the office.
Well, you have the pie-eating ribbons, don't you?
I have boxes of Famous Amos cookies.
That was a gift from my fiance. She because I was always throwing the medals kind of all over the place on top of books. She's like, you need a place to put it. So of course I strategically put it right where if I ever do a video interview to show how awesome and athletic I am.
I have one, but it just wouldn't look as impressive to just have one hanging on a pegboard there.
Steve only has 33 states to go, and then he'll run in all 50 states.
That's kind of my bucket list. I try to do 2 of these every year, but I think by the time I hit my 50s, my body's going to be torn apart. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to ever able to do that.
Steve, why don't you take us through? I mean, I would try to do this, but it's just going to be easier if you do, because you have Steve Scott, S.J. Scott, and I think you have a third pen name, right? And then each one is in a different niche, and I totally forgot about the podcast. Can you take us across the breadth of what you're doing with your platform?
Holy shit! Okay, it's a lot, and honestly, I will give credit where credit's due. And actually, when I first got into self-publishing, I listened to you guys, and once I got past the 30 minutes of rambling, I'm like, holy shit, these guys really know their stuff. So it was when I first got started out. I think it was September 2012. So I think you guys were really only 20 episodes into the podcast so far. But I just sat down and listened to every episode, and I went back and listened to every episode again, and I just listened very carefully as you guys kind of the whole mastermind analogy that you guys used. How you just talk about your problems. I didn't really have that. I just had me, myself, and I. So I just kind of had to figure out on my own just by listening to your podcast, Joanna's podcast, and other great podcasts that are out there. But I originally started out as more of a blogger. Dave, I am sorry, I had the internet marketing, affiliate marketing background. Just get it out there. But
Dave just got a rage boner.
Yeah,
the best kind.
But yeah, I had the blog, and it wasn't really getting much traction with the blog. I was putting good content out there about how to build your email list, how to build an affiliate marketing business, because it's what I was doing for about 8 years before I got into self-publishing. So I really felt I had at least the groundwork. But I would get a lot of good comments on my blog posts, but the comments wouldn't go anywhere. I wasn't really making money from the actually talking about. I was more making money from the kind of side affiliate marketing business that I had. And I just got into Kindle publishing specifically, just as a way of, instead of writing these really long blog posts, I was like, well, might as well just take one subject like email marketing, put everything into one book, and then just sell that one book at a really low value. Actually, for a while, I was doing a KDP Select where I was just giving away to all the people on my email list.
You do mean low price, not low value, correct?
Low value.
Oh shit!
That's what most of the books out there are doing.
Dave calls that a confession.
Yeah.
We got you, motherfucker.
No, I meant no cost, not no value. No, seriously. I felt actually, even to say the email marketing one specifically, that's been the foundation of all my business, and I was giving away for free to my email subscribers and for $2.99. I thought it was pretty much a steal. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's full of value, full of value. I eventually segued into the habits market, and that was more just like a case study. I was trying to show if I could just start from scratch a whole new brand of books and just see what it's like just to build something that's not related to internet marketing, and just the same idea there. Just take specific habits or specific challenges, boil it down into one specific thing, and just really try to. I guess the analogy is an inch wide and a mile deep. I try to take one topic and really delve right into that one topic. And Sean, you said you read Level Up Your Day. That's actually, I'm starting to feel the last couple of books I'm kind of getting away from that, trying to cover too much in the span of a book. But eventually I'll kind of figure out the actual word count versus how much I get into one particular topic. But
well, like one thing I noticed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying one thing I've learned you guys. I just try a bunch of stuff and just make a ton of mistakes as I go along.
Yeah, mistakes are your best friends. Once you you make them, and then like, okay, I'm done with that. Now I take all the good stuff and use it for the next thing that actually works, and I'm done with the stuff that doesn't. I love that. Yeah. I noticed that Level Up Your Day had a co-author, but I hadn't noticed that before. I think that maybe that's your second book with a co-author. How's that working out? Because you said it was just you, yourself, and I.
It's interesting because I actually. I guess that's the power of actually meeting people in person. I met her in person at Pat Flynn's one-day event where you kind of just go there and they rip apart your business for 30 minutes apiece. And I really found that she was insanely intelligent, a good writer, but she was basically acting as a VA for someone. She was just helping with their business, but she wasn't actually really building her own business. I'm like, this is someone full of talent that's just not really doing much. I was like, I got to work with you. As far as a working thing, I'm a little bit OCD. I just kind of like things myself. It's definitely, I enjoy it, but I don't think I really truly have what you guys have with the actual collaborative effort where you just throw them drafts back and forth. It's more like I'll write the outline, she'll write a really thorough, almost polished quality type of first draft, and I'll just go over the second draft and I'll do final pre-production, and I'll send it to my team to actually do all the post-production stuff. So it's not quite the back and forth like it is. It's just I tend to work on 2 or 3 books at the same time, so a lot of times I just like doing one thing, sending it over, knowing that they're doing their part, and I'll pick it back up when I'm done with another book. I'm more of a systems person. I like having everything off my plate, and I'm not trying to think about 4 or 5 books at the same time.
So is it segmented into different pen names to cover the different niches, right? So is it 3? Is it sort of an internet marketing sort of a niche? Habits? What are the breakdowns?
It's exactly that. I tried, like everyone, or not like everyone, maybe not Dave. I tried to get lazy and try to outsource a little. Like I tried to outsource
not like Dave.
I outsource nothing.
I tried to outsource a line of children's books, and that was pretty much a failure. So I do mention I did that, and I'm pretty honest about it. Like actually on my podcast page, there's actually a link to it, so I'm not really trying to hide anything. It was a failed experiment. I did write a couple myself, but there were literally 4,000, 5,000 words, really short content. It's just basically, here's a book about tigers, and you go look. I thought it was a good idea, and it was an awesome idea until everyone ripped off my model, because I thought I would have like the Discovery Channel, like the 33 most dangerous animals of the world. So I had that book, and I thought it was pretty cool until next week where someone else, like 5 other people, had the most dangerous. The model was too replicable, and I really wasn't part of me in that whole process. And I just learned a lesson that you really need to build a brand around the books. You can't just throw them up on Amazon and expect them to sell. You need to actually give a shit. You need to actually talk to readers. All the stuff you guys talk about in your podcast.
So do you actually? Now I'm beginning to wonder. Do you actually write your own the habit books?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's part of all my experience. I tried to take a shortcut and it bit me. Not really bit me ass. I made my money back, but I guess I did at the time. I was just trying to test different things, and just one of those things. I was like, I'll try to turn to a publishing company and just have other writers, and just not really what I was about. But it is something I did try.
You do test a lot, right? So I was, like I said, I read 61 Ways to Sell More Nonfiction books on Kindle. I haven't read any of the habit books, but I'm in this phase right now, and we're just trying to absorb like everything. So I'm just reading, even if it repeats stuff that I know, which isn't by any means always the case, but I just want to hear it again. And one of the things that comes out is you're really. I wish I had this tendency. Like, I want to know if I do something that X, I can expect X to cause Y. How much minutia? How much time does that take for you to keep track of all that stuff?
It takes a decent amount of time. I actually really obsessively track through Amazon Associates, where I'll go down to a really granular level where every single campaign, like if I'm sending email, that will have a specific tracking link. If I send a follow-up email, that will have a tracking link, and it's all done through Associates, where if people just go to amazon.associates.com, you can just sign for the affiliate program. And I know people have said you can't put your affiliate link in email, but I know BookBub does it all the time. I've actually seen them do it, so I'm like, well, if it's good enough for BookBub, it's good enough for me. Yeah, and so I try to really, not even like I'm trying to make money through Associate, I'm just trying to figure out intel on my books, and I figured out pretty much across the board, blog content, the 2 emails I send out, and a few small little Facebook things, like individual face groups that I'm part of, those are the best-selling metrics for me. Like those are what really moves it down. It really is like an 80-20 rule, where it's 80% really comes from 2 or 3 traffic sources, and it's dribs and drabs of everything else. So it really kind of has helped me kind of figure out exactly what I need to be doing and really just get rid of all the other stuff.
That's so really important, though. Yeah. That's so important to know where your efforts are actually producing results. And
absolutely,
it's hard to track that line of sight, but kudos to you for finding ways to do it, because it means that you can stick to that 80% stuff.
Are you finding your 80% stuff to be stuff that would be more universal to authors across the board, maybe, or is it something that's unique to Steve Scott and that business?
No, I think it's applied. I would say maybe the things I disregard, maybe other people could do really well. For instance, I'm terrible at social media. I think you guys said the same thing with Facebook with that March the bestseller. Like, you just aren't Facebook people. I'm the same way, where I have 2 or 3 groups. I'm part of those groups, and I really try helping people. But as a general rule, I don't really go on Facebook. I'm terrible at responding to personal messages. I don't spend hours on Facebook, so my results on social media is pretty much non-existent. Same thing, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, all that. I just tend to ignore it. But if someone's really a huge social media person, they really built a platform on social media, yeah, I'm sure they would get better results. But I would say almost across the board for me, and I know you guys talk about this too, it's just email marketing. It's just been the biggest component of my business. So I try to do a good job of driving everyone to my email list before anything else.
Now, what got you writing so much about habits? Was this is this something that it's part of you, that you're somebody that does refine your own habits a lot?
Yes.
Or was this strictly business? Okay, so it was.
Actually,
go ahead.
Actually, Dave, I would say kind of the stuff you talked about at the top of the episode. I actually, in real life, 2004, I was a hot mess. I was really just I was out of control with a lot of areas of my life, and really I almost need, and I wrote this email as an autoresponder. It really is true, is how habits saved my life, and I really truly feel that developing habits really keeps me focused, and I need routines, I need rituals, I need all these things, because if I was left up to my own devices, I would be all over the board. I would just be a mess. I need structure, and that's just something why I like habits. So I do it anyway. So I just found a way to monetize my kind of weird little tics that I have in my own personal life. I'm sorry, Dave. I actually cut you off a little bit, so please.
No. You answered the question. That's good.
Okay.
But I did want to ask, because the reason I found you was because you were somebody that had, I kept seeing your books all the time, and the covers are good, and I noticed they were on free, so it was easy to try. You use KDP Select. And then I started, buying other books or borrowing them on Kindle Unlimited, depending on how much I wanted the book. If it was something a little outside, then maybe I wouldn't try it out. But I noticed your content is very good, whereas a metric shit ton of people that are in this genre of sort of self-help and stuff, they just write really crappy stuff, and yours is good. It's honestly good, and I give you the seal of approval for whatever that is.
That's a valuable seal of approval.
Wow. It is, yeah.
But it feels genuine to me. But I want to know how much is Kindle Select part of your success for your books, and how do you sort of do it? Because I imagine eventually somebody could get all your books for free and never buy any of them. So how do you get people, like, how do you get them to actually buy them rather than I'll just wait till it'll be free, because obviously it probably will be if I wait long enough.
Well, actually, I to answer your first question, I'm pretty much all in on Kindle Select. I know you guys and actually Jim Kukral also talk about building your own brand, going direct, that sort of thing. I agree with that. I just think long term, that's going to be my goal. Just for now, I'm trying to maximize what I can get through Amazon just by being smart about it. Well, I actually, with my internet marketing stuff, I tend to give it away now because I know some of the information's dated. I know, especially like I was talking to Johnny over email, the 61 books or 61 ways to sell nonfiction, whatever that title is. I forget my own titles. A lot of that stuff is outdated. But my habit books, I feel, is very, very applicable to people no matter when it's written. So I almost never give those away for free. At the very minimum, that's part of my strategy is actually I sell it for 99 cents during the first week. I have a whole launch sequence where I target my one list on the first day, target my second list on the second day, target Facebook and a couple other things on the third day. Fourth day is my blog. Fifth day is a follow-up sequence or follow-up email to my list. So it's every single day I'm slowly pushing people onto Amazon. It's just I find that kind of trickle effect on Amazon really kind of I know David Gaughran would have a more eloquent way of saying it. It just seems to do something with Amazon that you're slowly pushing sales on.
He says tickle the algorithm.
And they start to
He does, and he says it with a great Irish accent.
Yeah, way better accent than my Jersey accent. But yeah, he would say it a lot nicer. But yeah, that's really my model is just selling it.
Whoa.
Sorry, I had
syndrome going on there.
Well, I had the weird thing going on there. So am I better now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What I was going to say is I think that with the Amazon trickle, I think that what's occurring there is, especially for nonfiction books, as I said a few times, like I'm reading a lot of publishing books, even though we have 2 of them. But what I'm noticing is if I buy 61 ways to publish, damn it, Steve, I had it too. 61 ways to sell more nonfiction books on Kindle. So if I buy that, which I did, then it's the also bots under it will contain I don't know, Simon's audiobooks for indies. It would contain us. It would contain, and so I kind of leapfrogged, especially with something with nonfiction. I think you're going to find really, really relevant also bots. And I think that's so it's in your best interest to get it in as many hands as possible, even through 99 cents, just so that you're in those also bots.
Absolutely. Actually, also bots I think are a huge part of my strategy side. Every time I launch a new book within a week, I see my book all over the place. I just get sick of seeing it. Like, I'm not looking for that book. I know that book. I want something else. So it really is a strategy where it's just that slow trickling out. And I don't really care if the people are already on my list. I want them to have the best possible deal. I want them to have it at 99 cents. I don't care if I make money. I just like knowing that eventually when it goes up to $2.99, that Amazon will do a lot of the promotion for me. And obviously, when Amazon starts really changing things around and when some of the benefits you get by publishing just solely on Amazon start to really go away, I'll move on to other platforms. But I would say for now it's Kindle Select, or sorry, KB Select, but I also do audiobooks, print books, and I'm kind of dabbling my toes in foreign translations and actually selling rights to other countries and stuff. So I am trying to do a little bit what I can to not be just rely just on the ebook market on Amazon.
Do you when I had to run out, and I know Dave asked about how you got into writing about habits, so you may have already answered this, so somebody stop me if you have. Do you think that what habits would you say are most applicable to getting work done as a writer?
The writing habit. I would say the one that I really loved, and I won't take credit for it, so I'll leave about it, his kind of most important things, and that really has been huge for me. It's just you get up every single morning, you sit down at your desk, and you write down the 2 or 3, and really Greg McHugh talks about essentialism. Just somehow priorities has become a plural word instead of a singular word, but that's a whole other conversation. But I really focus on 1 or 2 activities, maybe 3. But I'll write it down very specifically. Like I will write 1,500 words, 2,000 words of X book. I will record 3 podcast episodes. I get really specific, and these are high value tasks, and I make sure I do that before. Well, I do like to take a quick walk before I start my actual work day. But I'll walk, come back, and I'll just work right on those things before anything else. And as far as other actually habits for authors. For me, what helped is really the Evernote app. I actually create a stack for all my Kindle books, a notebook for every single Kindle book idea, and individual notes I'm constantly putting in there. So I just find my best thought is when I'm running or when I'm walking. So I'm constantly having stuff just pop into my head. So I make sure I have my cell phone with me pretty much all times. Not because I really enjoy being connected to the world like that. I just like the fact that I can just put all these ideas in Evernote on a constant basis. And I would say besides that, honestly, it's Pomodoro techniques of really just focusing in on your writing with a time and clock actually going on in the background, tracking your word counts, kind of what you guys talk about. I really try to take everything with my life and my business as a very systematic, strategic type of approach to it. And just because I actually, Johnny said you're out, just because I mentioned to Sean and Dave the fact that I am kind of a hot mess if I didn't have all these systems in place. I'm not a naturally structured person, so I kind of almost need to structure these little processes in my life.
Now, do you have days where you have unstructured days? Like, do you allow yourself, like, I'm just gonna sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix all damn day? Do you have anything like that, or?
Yeah, definitely. I actually, another thing is I actually tend to gravitate towards depression. Like I went through that when I was younger, so I've learned that I can let myself just one of these days just sit there. I do have it. I'd say once every month or so I have these really dark days where I can't do anything. So I allow myself to go into a hole from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock until my fiance comes home, and then she kind of kicks me ass and says, "Get off your ass and do shit." and then I get back into it and stop like pitying yourself. But I definitely have those days where I just completely fall off a wagon. But I've learned through a number of years just to kind of forgive myself. Tomorrow's a new day, get back up and just continue. But I think also a lot of times that the MIT thing I talked about, that actually helps. Sometimes I'm really feeling on a certain day. If I do one or two of those things and I have 30 emails in my inbox, I'm like, oh, screw it, I'm not going to worry about my email for today. It's just not going to happen. I learned to do the massive value stuff and then just be like, all right, just take the rest of the day out because you're just not into it.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that a lot of writers, have depression. Because I think writers in general, I mean, I'm generalizing here, but I think a lot of writers are sensitive sort of people, and they think more about shit, and they get down on themselves. So it is difficult. So that is why I like your habits books, because the ideal me is somebody that's actually doing what you're doing, but that's not the real me. So there's like Bizarro Dave, but yeah, I definitely.
Dave's like a hoarder who likes to go to the Container Store.
I do. Yeah, you got me there. So
Dave was describing that in a recent episode that during the course of the day he transitions from Mr. Hyde into Dr. Jekyll slowly, and then at the end of the day he's a different person and he makes grand plans which then fall apart when Mr. Hyde takes over again in the morning.
Yeah, here's what I'll do. I'm going to start right now. My evening. I was going to save this for Better Off Undead. Okay, like. I'm a night person. I'm generally up all damn night. In circumstances, I had a night job forever, and it's just kind of naturally how I am, even though I kind of fucking hate it. But what happens is, I'll wake up, noon or something, maybe a little bit later. I'll attempt to work, but then like at nighttime, like all of a sudden, like just as I'm like most tired, I feel like so like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm like a drug dealer or a drug user that's planning to quit. And
he just orders NutriBullets.
But I'll like sit there planning out my day, planning out my week, my month, my year. I'm like Sean. I'll be just planning everything out. I'll be writing it down. I'll be reading your books before I go to sleep. I'm like, yeah, that's highlighting shit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then I wake up and I just feel god awful tired, and I don't want to fucking do any of that stuff that I wanted to do like 8 hours ago.
Well, I would actually a guy I talked to, he's super energetic, so maybe the book might not be for you. But Hal Elrod. Yeah, it's actually my drug dealer down the road.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this guy Hal Elrod, he wrote The Morning Miracle, and obviously, if you're not a morning person, you don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning like he does. But I would almost suggest a reverse of that, because I find that I can't read nonfiction, I can't read anything inspirational or excited right before I go to bed. And actually, that's when I like to read fiction, horror, that sort of stuff before I go to bed, because actually, just the reading kind of lulls me to sleep. I'd almost say that positive, inspirational stuff you do the first thing in the morning. Like I don't necessarily say you have to do what Hal does and affirmations and all that kind of woo-woo stuff. Perhaps just go out and take. For me, I find it's really really helped me personally. Just go out and take a 30-minute walk almost right away, just kind of get your head clear, come back, maybe read stuff that you find inspirational, and then start writing. But obviously, you don't want to ever start messing around with your writing schedule, because that, for me, I'm probably like you guys, that's the most important thing. But maybe doing something that kind of gets you like, all right, let's fucking do this. Let's go.
In a frame of mind, yeah. Yeah, I'll try that.
Well, one of the things the concepts that Steve, that you've talked about is habit stacking. I mean, you had a really popular book, Habit Stacking, and I know Sean read it. I haven't read it yet. But it's the idea of stacking habits is, I mean, I think that's something we can all learn from too.
Yes.
Is once you do something, I mean, I know this isn't like literally what you say, but once I do something right, I'm more likely to do something else right. There's an upward spiral and a downward spiral depending on what I choose to do right now.
Well, it's also the limited amount of willpower that we have that I know other books have talked about as well. That, you know, that the harder you're trying to do something, the more likely you're going to fuck it up later on because you've used all your willpower on something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason I'm able to exercise at the end of the day is because of the simple fact that I've trained myself through 20 some odd years. But if I was just getting started, I wouldn't tell people to go run at the end of the day, because they're just there's a concept called ego depletion that you mentioned with willpower. It's just when you keep on making all these small decisions, when you keep on doing all these things throughout the day, you slow everything starts decreasing your ability to handle any sort of stress. And that's why people, after a long day, their wife or husband says one thing and they're just suddenly lashing out because it's just they've been holding it in all day at their job, and their boss has been ripping into them, and they're dealing with stupid people, and it's just that constant stress of having to make all decisions, do stuff. It's just at the end of the day they're just done. So as far as for writers or for in general, I just find that the earlier part of the day that you can get stuff done is more optimal. But obviously you really have to understand your own natural rhythms. Like the only reason I could write in the morning is because I train myself to do so, but I'm naturally a night person. But if you really are a night person, don't try to be one of these like super up in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, try tackling a day. You really have to understand how you work best.
We should do that for Dave, but as a reality show. Dave wakes up every morning hoping that Johnny and I both suffer from ego depletion.
Well, I met you guys in person. Holy shit, you guys are energetic.
Not me. He met the other two, not me.
So yeah, I met Sean and John.
Yes, just to be clear, Dave is Logie.
Yeah, I will never give off energetic as one of the words about me.
I tend to be on in public when I'm with people who are interested in speaking to me in a public sort of fashion like that. It was at Author Marketing Live was one of
yes.
that. And then I do get energetic. I'm actually not nearly as energetic ongoing, but I'm not non-energetic either. But
yeah, I thrive on energy. Like you know, if we're like, I mean, we were probably bouncing ideas back and forth. Like we were talking about the summit session in September.
Yes.
Earlier, and that was very energetic the whole entire time because you've got all these ideas everywhere, right? It's the crackling. But yeah, a lot of times, like my daughter's like that, and I mean, lately she's just, it's constant, and I love her so much. But sometimes I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, Haley is like if you took Sean and had him on crack or something. Like you just take normal Sean and then put him on crack.
Hey, Sean, that feeling you get when Haley's like on, when she's like 20 on the volume, that's how I feel with you. Now you know. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's relentless.
So, Steve, what's the best place for? I mean, you have so many different places to send people and different books and stuff. What's for this audience? What's the best place to find you?
Actually, I just started a podcast, like I mentioned before. It's selfpublishingquestions.com. But actually, like I mentioned before, it's more of an offshoot. It's just I was getting a ton of email. I get 40 to 60 emails a day. It's just overwhelming. So I decided to turn each one of these emails into a podcast episode. It's more of a 5 to 15 minute long short form daily podcast where I just answer people's questions. And I try to do the whole speak pipe thing where I actually play it live. I try to actually be a little more professional than with some of the other stuff I do. But yeah, just go to selfpublishingquestions.com and you'll see. I think I have 16 episodes published so far. So trying to build that up. Just
to be clear, when we do that later this year, we're not stealing your idea. Right? It was already on the docket.
I heard you guys talk about it. I think Jim Crawl, he's not quite the daily podcast, but I definitely know he's doing shorter form answering questions. But I stole the idea from Pat Flynn. I'm gonna be honest about it. He has
Ask Pat. Yeah, it's a great format. It just
exactly.
is. It's smart. It's
I love.
Yeah, it's easy
from
from
the SEO standpoint. It's brilliant. It's just every single question could be an SEO question. It could be something I'm trying to actually have show notes. Actually write it out so like I get a little bit of Google love. So I am trying to slowly segue myself out of my inbox while also trying to build a brand at the same time. So.
I want to collaborate with Steve because he's got all the organization that we don't. Like, can we put that together? Like, show notes and shit? Like, what? What is that?
I have good actually, I shed a little tear because I launched my podcast on January 1st, and I have a Filipino VA who works 40 hours, and this was, I guess the Pope is going to the Philippines, so she wanted to spend the next couple weeks doing, I don't know, Pope stuff. And
I was too.
And so she'd like skip town. I'm like, no, you can't skip town. It's when I need you the most. Obviously, I'm not going to say no. Obviously,
who's more important, me or the Pope? Come on.
You should try that and see what he says.
I can see the newspaper headline: Steve Scott versus Pope showdown.
Yeah, right. No, he's an awesome. As far as popes go, he seems like an awesome pope. Like he's pretty liberal with his thinking, so I do appreciate that. But yeah, so she skipped town, so I'm trying to do all this stuff at the same time. But once she gets back, I really am a firm believer in building teams. Like I have a podcast editor, I have a podcast writer for the actual show notes, and she'll do all the graphics and all the uploading. So I hope to someday be able to just look at an Excel file, see the question, answer, and that's all I have to do. So
yeah,
hopefully it'll get to that point. But yeah, it's all about systems. I really try to be as systematic as possible. Obviously, things break all the time, but I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying
but
to
you understand it going into it. So yeah. That's 90% of it, or 80%.
Yeah, I want to collaborate with Steve too, like a point counterpoint sort of book. Like this is what you do, and this is what Dave does.
Actually, that would be kind of awesome. If you want to learn how to do something, I'll provide coaching through a book.
It would be awesome. Dave always makes these jokes about things that really would be awesome to do, and then we'll never actually do them because they're a joke. Like,
and then Johnny writes them.
Right. He seriously doesn't think that How to Win Your Marriage would be an awesome book, but it so would.
I think I just got an idea for a new redacted episode.
Wait, how to win your marriage? Like how to actually have honest communications, or how to win every single argument and browbeat the spouse down?
No, you're just winning the marriage, like you say. Just that's a Better Off Undead episode title: is How to Win Your Marriage, where Dave talked about when he won.
I'm sorry, guys. I haven't really checked out Better Off Undead.
Wow! Get the fuck off me!
That's because you actually have respect for yourself and your schedule.
It's hard. I love you guys. I love Better Off Dead, and actually, Dave, your stories are epic. I had to really focus because I try to listen to podcasts as a business way, and I tried to. There are like 20 other podcasts I have to check on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's no value in Better Off.
There's no value.
Nobody ever should apologize for not listening to Better Off Undead. Like, do you think you're offending us? Please.
They should brag about having stayed away.
Yeah, you should be telling us how you haven't listened to any, and that'll make us respect you.
No, the one story about that girl cutting him off. Holy shit! I was laughing my ass off, and then she gave him the finger. That was a great. I do like the stories. It's funny as hell, but I try to be. I try to be business oriented.
The show is Better Off Undead.
We'll send you a link to the only episode of Better Off Undead you ever need to listen to. If on one of your dark days where you're in a hole, you can listen to this, and it'll either dig you deeper or bring you out.
Is it the Very Davy Christmas?
The Very Davy Christmas. It is the one I highly recommend. So.
That's a writer down. I'll write that down. I've heard you mention before.
It was last December. It was great.
There you go. So thanks, Steve, so much for being on. Steve Scott, S.J. Scott, he's all sorts of people. Check out selfpublishingquestions.com. I am going to subscribe to that. I enjoy new feeding my brain with self-publishing stuff, so I'm going to check it out.
I'll subscribe to that, too.
Well, thanks, guys.
So thanks, everybody, for listening to the Self-Publishing Podcast. To get all of our best stuff without all the off-topic bullshit, please check out our self-publishing guide, Write, Publish, Repeat, the no-luck-required guide to self-publishing success at selfpublishingpodcast.com/WPR. Thanks much, guys, and we'll see you next week.